It's been a long time, really. We had Cal's beautiful press conference in here. I know I got a couple words to say, but it seems like forever since we played Georgia Tech. So that's kind of way, way, way beyond. But just to, I guess close the chapter with you guys. Again, good win on the road, good team win. We started fast, which was our goal going down there, and we won the turnover ratio. But our guys played hard, played strong. And played fast, which is the goal every week, to get our guys to stay consistent like that and play like they did. Again, against a good football team. We still got a long ways to go as far as where we want to be and what we want to do. And so many corrections from that game and every game, to be honest with you, that we just continue to try to get better. And that's what we did in the open week, try to fix some of our things that we want to get better at, look at ourselves, self-scout-wise, what are we doing, what are they doing. You have a chance because, a lot of teams go out and copycat what they've seen in the past, so we expect to see some of that. Virginia Tech will, certainly look at where our weaknesses are. And then we got a great Virginia Tech team that had a tough loss, emotional loss to Notre Dame at home. And, it's tough to go on the road anywhere, and we've struggled down in Blacksburg. Whether it's, 4 downs from the one year and last year or 2 years ago, I guess, in a pouring down rain. In Bud Foster's last game there, they played well, and we didn't play so well. So it's a great challenge for us to go on the road again and play a tough football team. And Justin Fuente's got a tough football team. They play hard. They play tough. On offense, they like to run the ball. On defense, they will line up at 4 down, play a lot of man free. Again, very, very athletic football team, and something that we've got to come ready to play. So, and then on the other note, besides Chris, be on time. Come on, man. But besides offense, defense, special teams, they got one of the best special teams units, in the ACC. They got the #1 ranked special teams unit when you take them all into consideration. So we're going to have to play our A game. Special teams is going to be a critical role this weekend, and we're going to have to definitely get better there and impact the game on special teams. So, questions?
What did you see on film when you watched the Notre Dame game?
What I see on tape, they love to run the football. They love to run it against us as well, especially when we get into our third, 3 down stuff. They're going to either check to run, or they just, see us putting in that sub nickel package and like to run the ball on 3rd and long and 3rd and medium. But when you look at what you saw against Notre Dame, I mean, they like to run their quarterbacks, and they got 2 quarterbacks banged up. Burmeister will be ready to go. He came back in that game and looked like maybe he hurt his funny bone because it didn't look like it affected him much. So he'll be back, and we expect to see him. And again, they like to run the quarterback, and that's what happens sometimes when you do that. So I don't know how much quarterback run we'll see. Maybe we'll see some wildcat. We've tried to make up some stuff, the last couple of days of what they could possibly do, putting someone else back there to run what they want to run. So, but they played hard, and they make plays.
Years, really the last few years, they've hit on some big plays. You guys think that even the 19 game hit on a couple of big ones up. Where do you think your defense is right now in terms of stopping those big plays 5 games into this season?
It's hit and miss. I mean, you worked so hard last year. They lined up in a 3-by-1, with the closed end, and they ran 1 quarterback lead zone, and we came up and stopped it. And they came back and ran a quarterback lead, quarterback step back, and they ran an over route. Which we didn't play great, but they had a big pass on us, a couple years ago down there. Matter of fact, 2 years ago down there, they hit us on a big spread out over route. We were in cover 3, which should have been pretty good, but we played it like cover 4, which was an issue. So, we've got to eliminate the explosives. So we'll find out, you get graded game by game, but they do some, they've always seemed to, I don't want to say trick you, but they'll come out, last year, even one of their bigger plays was they came out, we call it the fight song, where, they put an eligible tight end at the tackle position and try to trick you. We saw it, the backer saw it. We just didn't cover it properly. But they've always seemed to try to get 1 or 2 of those on you a game. So we've got to eliminate the big plays for sure.
Is that a Fuente thing, that he just does that?
It seems like we see more of it than you see in other games. But it's a Fuente. It's their offensive coordinator. It's what they do, and they're trying to make explosives, and they're trying to create stuff, and sometimes we create our own problems too. So.
Did the off week do you guys some good as far as getting some banged up guys a little healthier?
Yeah, I mean, we weren't too banged up going into the open week, but yeah, it gave us a week just to get fresh, more than healthy. Just mentally, the kids had Friday, Saturday off. They could just kind of chill, and some of them went home, and got to relax a little bit. So it's a mental break as much as a physical break and getting healthy.
All the guys that have been on this team for a while now, how much is there like an extra emphasis? It's like, hey, we want to get a win in Blacksburg this week with the history of just going back and forth between these two teams?
No doubt about it. And I think Notre Dame found out it's not an easy place to go play. It's loud. The fans are into it. They'll be into it at 3:30. They'll be into it at 7:30. So with the 3:30 game on ESPN, they'll be ready to go. They'll be pumped up. And again, it's not an easy place to play. We got a little used to that. Even Georgia Tech was a good crowd, and obviously Tennessee on the road. So we've kind of gone through those issues already. So it's not going to be new to us. You see some teams on TV where they struggle with the noise in the crowd and jump off sides on offense and all that stuff. We didn't do that down in Tennessee and don't expect to do it in Blacksburg this weekend. So, we're well coached and we just got to go out and execute and make plays.
How do you feel about the offensive line following the game against Georgia Tech?
We got to win. So that's how you feel about it. I was happy with what they did. We ran the ball pretty darn good. If I can recall, and they protected the quarterback. I think we gave up one sack, and it was really a protection issue than it was a personnel issue. We gave up the one, and they brought a blitz that we just couldn't get out of that protection. So we just got to be careful, and I wish we would have checked out of it.
With the way that Izzy played against Georgia Tech, do you see him taking serious steps up as far as playing more time as the lead running back, or do you think that's still more of a
No, Chris, I think that's definitely something you got to look at. I mean, we got a lot of confidence in Vince, and he's become that next guy, and we've been rotating him. So we're going to give him both. And again, I think you see that is, did he have good plays? Did he get lucky? But we're just going to continue. We need two to begin with, so we're not going to go in there saying, here are our guy, and the backup's going, I'm not going to get any reps. All of a sudden, he's got to go in. So we're going to keep those guys fresh. Izzy and Vince have done a great job protecting the quarterback, and I think that's the critical thing that you don't see. Sometimes everybody's looking at rushing yards and carries, and so protecting the quarterback is just as important as running with the football. They've done a great job that way, too.
Go ahead.
Oh, thanks. Now, you guys have been some national notoriety the last couple of weeks, different things. How do you see those guys handling all this?
I don't know. I mean, sometimes, that's one thing we struggle with, handling success. I don't know, national, notoriety, as far as just, individual player or a team. I still don't see much respect for a 4-1 football team, which is fine, and it's something I'll use. And all the preseason ratings and all that baloney doesn't make any difference. It's what you do weekend. No one cares what you did the last couple of weeks. Everybody cares about what you're going to do Saturday at 3:30. And I think that's the focus. Our guys just got to take it one game at a time and not worry about the noise on the outside. What you guys are talking about, if the national media is talking about, it doesn't matter because you're only as good as your last opportunity on the field.
Is it hard to insulate them from that?
Yes, social media, they look at it, and they've had 2 weeks to look at it and go, look at me and all this stuff. And, you try to tell them to shut it off, turn it off, and do they? I don't know, but hopefully they will. And we had a good week of practice last week, and we'll have a tough practice this week. We're going to get after it.
How would you assess the play of the safeties so far?
I've been happy with, Eric Hallett. He's played well. Brandon Hill's played well. Those two guys have come in and have played, solid football. And, last year in this game here at home, they kind of attacked our safeties. We had Brandon Hill and Eric Hallett both started, and it seemed like we put DeMar into the boundary and Hallett to the field. They went after Hallett, and then we had to switch them, so they didn't know where they were. But Hallett's a much different player than he was a year ago. He's improved greatly, and then having Brandon Hill in there, which I forget why Brandon wasn't out there last year. I forget exactly why, but he didn't play last year, so I'm sure he's looking forward to it. He's been a big hitter and a guy we can count on. Both those guys are guys we can count on, or our two best safeties.
Coming along like
He is. He's been just a little bit banged up, but Rashad is coming along. But it's hard to come along as far as you want to when you're not practicing as much as you need to. So I think that's a concern there, and hopefully that week, again, it's nothing major, just little knick-knack things, but which cause him not to practice as much and get as good as you need to get.
Do you ever look at kind of take like a big picture view of the series with Virginia Tech when you go back to that game in 16 and everything that kind of happened then, and then 17 the game you get down to the 1 yard line at the end, and the next year you guys blow them out and they win by a lot. You guys beat them up pretty good last year. I mean, do you look at kind of the overall series?
You do. I mean, you do. It's been been a long time we played Virginia Tech, and you look at, we've got a five game breakdown on them, just Pitt versus Virginia Tech, and we've watched, a lot of that game, those 5 games through the last week. So you do look at it, and we got to play better on the road. We got to come ready to play in that atmosphere, and that will be the challenge this week. But we definitely look at all that stuff, what they've done, and how they've done things. So we've got to start fast down there. We got to get ahead of the crowd.
When you said you did self-scout, kind of looking for some of those weaknesses or vulnerabilities, what were some of the things that stood out with your offense? What were you able to sort of?
I haven't watched as much. I let Coach Whip take care of that. I've been just focused on defense, to be honest with you, this week, and I focus on them during the week and what we're doing and how we're practicing and what plays we're running. But I can't tell you I've studied a lot. I've watched one game on them, Virginia Tech's defense, just to see who their people are, and I'll let maybe one of the offense coaches talk to you later in the week about that.
In terms of defense, any vulnerabilities or whatever you've seen so far through 5 games that are concerned?
Defense, obviously we know the one issues we had with RPOs, and I think we've tightened down some of that stuff and changed some things up that we're doing. And these guys like to run RPOs as well. We'll see that same, slant routes that other people run, and it's kind of the in vogue new RPO. It used to be RPOs were all going out, now they're coming in as far as in routes. So it's been something that we're going to run some skinny posts, and on the outside, and they're going to run some what we call glances, and they're going to run some dragons or slants inside, just to kind of backer gets sucked up, throw it right behind the backer, and so that safety now on the RPO has got to play the outs and the ins, and it's not easy, but we got some different things in to take care of that stuff, and we've been tested a little bit, and we'll continue to be tested.
Who would you tell your linebackers in those situations where they're trying to expose the middle of the field? Like the guys like Wendell and Savassier and Phil might be kind of patrolling that area. How do they get kind of prepared for that?
In camp, right? I mean, it's RPOs, so you either stay out of the box and let them run it down your throat, or you step in the box and you stop the run and let them throw it over your head. So so we've just got other little tweakings to our defense that we've got to take care of, where we can make sure we're good in the run and still keep that back out of the box. So those are all little things that we've worked on the last 3 weeks and gotten a little bit better at.
How nice is it to have a senior quarterback like Kenny when you go into those environments and obviously play well at Tennessee? It's
big time. I mean, he's one of the top quarterbacks in the country, if not the best quarterback in the country, in my opinion. When you look around, and it's comforting as a head coach and as an offense and a defense, knowing that Kenny Pickett's going to lead the show out there, and you can trust him, and he's going to do everything he can do to win a football game. So I got a lot of faith. Just talking to him yesterday, he's already got a great grasp of what they do and how they do it, and 95% of this room watched the TV game, without it being set up. So they kind of got a good feel of what they're going into, and they got an extra week just to kind of see what Virginia Tech is offensively, defensively, and in special teams.
How have defensive ends been playing? And when did Desmond first get healthy, 100% healthy?
He was 100% healthy, in practicing, I guess week 2, where that was his first time. So I think Desmond's getting to the point where he is, got through all his camp reps. I mean, you think of a Tuesday practice and a Wednesday practice, he's been using those the last few weeks just to get back to, playing the game of football. We just didn't do it during camp. He had an injury, obviously, in spring ball, at the end of spring ball, that held him out, and he did an unbelievable job of recovering from that. Just took a little longer than we wanted it to, but he was even ahead of schedule with what he had to deal with there. So, he's been playing good. Haba's been playing great. I mean, Haba's been playing, lights out as well, and Dez has been playing solid. And I know he wants more. Haba misses 3 sacks against Georgia Tech. He could be the hero and ACC Defensive End of the Week if he makes those 3, and I know that upsets him, and he's driven to fix that stuff. So you got to love that. He works his tail off, kind of like Rashad Weaver and Patrick Jones had and Deslin have, as far as the mental part of it. So he will be on top of his stuff. He knows what's coming at him. I think we talked earlier in the year, as far as game 1, game 2, just thinking too much. So I think we've got rid of the thinking too much and play, but think enough to go make plays.
You mentioned the way that Kenny is playing. How is he handling all the attention that is coming his way now?
Kenny's like this. I mean, you don't see any change in who he is, and that's good. So, I think you handle it week by week, and you see how it affects him. But I don't expect to see any difference in how Kenny Pickett plays.
How many times have you had to say "we, not me" as the hype around individual players' builds?
Quite often, a few times a week for sure to the team. So I mean, it's all about that. And again, whether it's on the field or off the field, it's it's we, not me. So.
Getting Owen back to center, did that help out a lot?
It helps out a lot. I mean, although I love the combination of, Cradle and Hoy inside and Matt Gonsalves. So, I mean, whatever that combination is, just glad he didn't have any snap issues, and any issues with that little injury he had. And he's back 100% now. So it's good to have them back, but we got answers if something were to occur at that position.
How's AJ doing?
AJ, I'd say he's probably about 90%. He's coming back, and it's been a while, though. He's back to doubles, too. He's got to go back and get back to business.
You guys comfortable with Sam kicking it at this point, Sam started?
It appears to be, right? I mean, I feel good with where he is. I mean, he kicked a 46-yarder against Georgia Tech on the road again, and Sam's been playing well, and he's got a lot of confidence. And he, again, it's amazing how consistent some of these guys are. They're, again, more of the consistency as far as how they act. Like Kenny Pickett, Jordan Addison, and Sam is just like, if I took a heartbeat on that guy, I don't know if it's, a 58-yard field goal or an extra point, his heartbeat doesn't change. And that's the same with Kenny and same with Jordan Addison. Those are three guys that just they always go to cool school and they relax and they just play football. So I've been happy with Sam.
Jordan, what has he done differently this year? Or is it an attitude thing? Is it a play thing in terms of just his hot start to the year?
Last year he was a true freshman, and we put him in one spot and we just kind of, even though we wanted to move him around, but now we get to move him around a little bit. He's just playing with a lot of confidence. We know he's a great player. He knows he's a great player. You got to go out and make plays. He actually didn't have one of his better games. I think he put the ball on the ground twice as far as catches. He'd like to be 100% efficient in his catches that come to his way on target. So he's again just steady and he's fast. He runs great routes. He knows what he's doing. He doesn't have to think about what route he's running or how he's converting a route. He knows and he plays fast.